line. Go.
This is race day for day 3 of the USA Nationals and the World Championship Trials. Before we get started to talk about all the exciting events tonight, we have a very special guest with us.
Todd Schmitz, Colorado Stars, a head coach, having a very good meet. Missy Franklin and Jordan Mattern on the World Championship team. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's been, I just said to somebody tonight, I go, I can't believe this is only the end of third night. It seems like it's day number 7 already.
Yeah, these meets tend to, drain you really quickly, especially as a coach.
Well, especially, I made that comment to Missy's mom this morning. I said, you know what, every selection meet, it never gets any easier. It never gets any less emotional. And I think you saw that in a couple swims tonight. I think that once a kid puts their name on that piece of paper saying they're already going to Barcelona, I think they kind of relax and they let some of their other swims happen, and I think you saw that a couple times tonight, really.
Yeah, and speaking of Missy, who does so many events, obviously she won the 100 free the first night, so she got herself on the team. How do you keep her motivation up throughout the week to make sure she's not letting back at all?
You know what, it's kind of like just like our approach the last couple of years. When we sit down and talk about the meet, we don't necessarily identify one event. We talk about what do we want the whole meet to look like. And the funny thing is today in between prelims and finals, I was going through my World Championship and World Trials folder, and in September I sent Missy a schedule of all 8 days of Worlds and how every event, all 5 that she's swimming here, the 50, 100, 200 back, 100 and 200 free, and how they fit in the meet lineup and where the relays fit. And so that, this is, 10 months ago, I wanted her to be educated, and so she knew. But then even at World Trials, like, hey, you're gonna have to swim the 2 free, 2 back double. We're gonna train that all year, just like we did with the 2 free, 100 back double. Educating her and doing things in practice and at meets, Grand Prix, to make sure that when she comes to that, even though she got out of it and goes, I don't want to do that double, and I go, well, we don't have to do that at trials or at Worlds, so I think that's the best thing, that Missy doesn't let up. She's not satisfied. She goes, hey, we had a goal of coming in here and trying to make 5 events plus the relays. We're only 80% way home.
And that's a big schedule. I mean, that's going to be potentially 8 events. That's a big schedule for anybody. And I know when she was, we were talking about this at the Olympics, can she handle it? And obviously she can. Is this more just, obviously she can handle it physically, but what's the key for anybody to be able to do it mentally over an 8-day meet at Worlds?
You know what, I truly feel, I listened to Michael and Bob talk about it, after his feat in 08, and just talking about the mental aspect and training that side. I think that there's a lot of coaches out there that at this level, we're really all doing the same thing in the water. We're all going to say it a little different. We're all going to go, but at the end of the day, we're doing the same things. And so what do you got to do? You got to do something outside of the pool different, dry lands, but also talking about that, and that's why I educate Missy with, hey, 10 months ago, here's the schedule. If you don't think you can handle it, we can drop the 50 back, whatever. And she goes, oh, that's perfect. I can do that, and I think giving her that confidence, but then also, like, hey, the reason why we're doing this set today is because of that 2 free, 2 back double, and so giving her those mental little cues all the way along the road, so that when we get here, I can just throw 1 or 2 of those out at her, and she goes, oh yeah, this is going to be easy.
Well, I could speak for Tiffany when I say it's just a mind-blowing effort that she does this every year and doesn't bat an eye at it.
Todd, speaking of the 50, obviously swimming next to Rachel Bootsma, she's as quick as it gets, clearly breaking that American record. But when you compared their start side by side, Missy was at a clear disadvantage right off the get-go. How are you going to help her improve that really upfront speed? Because she's going to close in on the 200, and now that you're going to add the 50 to the lineup, if she's going to add that to her resume, how are you going to get that front half a little quicker?
You know what? We've looked at that front half all this, and her front half's better than it's been ever. I think I got her at 7.2 to 15 meters. You know what, but with Missy's size, I truly don't ever think that she's going to be able to go Natalie Coughlin speed or even Rachel Bootsma speed to 15 meters. But you know what, I've realized in the last couple of years, I don't think she needs to. I tell her all the time, I say, we got to be above average to 15 meters, and above water, nobody can swim with us. And so, there's a lot of people out there that think that they know what's going on, and you know what, Missy's underwaters have improved. That's the first time she's ever been at 27 ever on the board, and that was the goal really coming in tonight, coming over. I said we want a 1 or 2 in front of her name and a 27, and she did both of those, and so she's going to swim that 50 back. She won a 28.0 at 2011 Worlds and won a bronze medal. So looking at both those times that her and Rachel posted, I think that's exciting for both of them in that 50 back.
It definitely is. Well, Todd, thanks so much for joining us. We know you got a long couple more days ahead of you, so go home and get some rest.
Thank you guys for having me.
Our pleasure.
Congrats. Thank you.
All right. So that was Todd Schmitz joining us here from Colorado Stars. He's still got a lot of great swims ahead of him, but let's talk about what happened here tonight. We had a record-breaking day. We had an American record and
multiple
two U.S. Open records, and I know they were in the 50s, which aren't done very often, but it's still just exciting to see those happen.
You know, today was probably, in my opinion, the best of all the days. Like you said, the records, we finally got to see some go down. There were still some events that were not necessarily where we wanted to see them. But let's start with the 400 IM. Maya Dorado, breakout meet for her. Always been a strong collegiate swimmer, but really never kind of getting all the way up to the top with the gold. And she won the 400 IM tonight, followed by Elizabeth Beisel. Those, I think, were the two favorites. But 434s for the two of those girls, those were solid swims tonight. That's
a solid swim for Maya. I really hope that Elizabeth Beisel can get down to that 431 again. She's been at 431 since, I believe, like past 2-3 years, and I think she really wants to get that American record is 431.1. I think she knows that obviously the race Yishi wins, she's going to have to break 430. Someone's going to have to break 430 to even get a chance at Yishi win. So I hope Elizabeth can get back down to that. Maybe she just needs more rest. Maybe she, you know, most of the time these Florida swimmers don't fully rest for the trial meets, and then they let loose. That's what I think what she did for Olympic trials, and then she really let loose. So, but yeah, Maya Dorado, just what a fantastic swim. I didn't really expect her to be able to hold on as well as she did, but I think it's just all mental, like I'm having such a great meet and I'm just going to just let it all go. And she looked incredibly smooth, so that was a fabulous race for her. Now the men's side, this was a really interesting one. Tyler Clary was the clear runner out front all the way through the backstroke. I almost thought he was going to maintain that and then be able to shut down a little bit because I know he's not feeling that great. But then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, I guess it's to be expected, but Chase Kalish put together a phenomenal 100 breaststroke split to get the clear body length over Tyler Clary, and then the two of them hung on for the 1-2. But time-wise, 4:11, 4:14, these, I was hoping for a sub 4:10. I think they were all hoping for a sub 4:10 too. They know they're going to have to go sub 4:10 to even get in the bronze medal position. We know the two Japanese swimmers are sub 4:10. We still don't know what Laszlo Che, Thiago Pereira, those guys can do. So the field is tight, and they're all going to have to go under 4:10. But you know, Chase Kalish, there is so much untapped potential for him in this 400 IM. His 100 breast, I just got to tell you, was a 108.8. That's just mind-blowing. That's fast. That's what most of the 200 breaststrokers are going in their last 100. So to be able to go that after 100 fly and 100 back is pretty phenomenal. Wow. And I think Michael Phelps didn't break 110 in his world record swimming the 400 IM. So Chase is great in that breaststroke. He's got to work on that backstroke. He's got to be closer to the field on that backstroke. And then just not really burning that breaststroke so much that he has nothing left on that freestyle, because he's going to catch up to everybody, but then if he uses all of it on breaststroke, it's not going to matter when he gets to freestyle. All right, well, moving on to the 100 butterfly. Of course, Dana Vollmer was the clear favorite. She wasn't leading the way. It was actually Claire Donahue at the 50 who looked incredibly smooth. But, of course, Vollmer came through her last 15 yards, as you expect her to just excel forward. She was a 57.5, Claire 58. The swim of the night, though, in this 100 butterfly came out of 13-year-old Cassidy Beyer, 59.99 for a 13-year-old out of the C final. Just fabulous swim. That, to me, was more impressive than Dana's 57. Yeah, that is just impressive to see a 13-year-old do that. She's 4/10s off the national age group record, and she's got one more year. I mean, this girl has, the sky is her limit. I'm really impressed with the way she swam, and she's been doing well. I remember, I think she was somebody you probably said a lot when you were going to the Tom Dolan meet. You probably said her name a lot. So, you know, I think this is really a chance for her to shine. I'm sure she's going to continue to do well. I hope she goes to junior nationals and tries to get that record. I mean, it'd be impressive if she does it at age 13. We've been following her for a while. She was always the 12 and under high point swimmer of the meet, those types of things. But she was a 101 in prelims. So her reaction to finally breaking a minute barrier, which I'm assuming was obviously the long-term goal, but whether she thought she was actually going to do it tonight, she was just so incredibly shocked that that's exactly what every parent in the stands wanted to see tonight. Yeah. Really impressive swim for Cassidy. On the men's side, swim of the night for me personally goes to Eugene Godsu. Not only does he win the 50 fly yesterday,
but he's the champion tonight in the 100 butterfly. Ryan Lochte hanging on for second. It was a really tight field all the way down to the end. Tyler McGill looked great out there in lane 8, but then he only hung on to 4th place.
Only hung on to 4th place. Eugene Gotzo actually swam a very smart race. Didn't go out with the field, which is what he can do. He could do that. He could have gone out with Tyler McGill. He probably would have ended up in 3rd place. He probably wouldn't have been able to get his arms out of the water. He did a smart thing to just hold back and build into that race. And Ryan did the same thing. I think he just ran out of room. I think he probably would have been able to finish that race a little bit better. Maybe the training wasn't there for the butterfly, for the 100 fly. I don't think he really focuses enough on sprint butterfly to really be able to say, I feel confident enough to do this. But for him to be able to get that 2nd spot and to swim the 100 fly at World Championships, I think that's new for him. I think he had done it at Short Course World, but to do it at Long Course World is a different beast, and we could see him in the final of the 100 fly at World Championships. It's not out of the question.
He said this was his 2nd time swimming the 100 butterfly on the national level, and that's sounds outrageous for someone that's 28 years old and been around the track a few times. But what does that say about U.S. butterfly that Ryan Lochte's 2nd for the men in the 100? It
doesn't say anything bad. It just speaks volumes about Ryan Lochte's diversity in all of his strokes, that he is able to be able to do that. And I remarked to you at some point that I think Ryan Lochte, if he really wanted to, he could do a 200 breaststroke and probably be very competitive. So it just speaks to the way the great IMers are good in every single stroke. And I think if he really put his mind to it, Ryan Lochte could be 50.5 100 fly if he really wanted to just take the time to train for it, which, I think he could do. Maybe he just stops doing the 400 IM and focuses on the 100s and 200s. By Rio, he could be 50.5.
All right, well, we'll see what we see. But before we move on from this event, similar to Cassidy Beyer on the ladies' side, Justin Lynch breaks Michael Phelps' national age group record for the 15, 16-year-old. Fabulous swim. He was a 52.75. He was a 52.99 in prelims, just missed it by 1/100th of a second. Comes back, clears the record, and just a fabulous swim for him.
Anybody to say I broke a Michael Phelps record has got to be elated. I talked to him after the race, and he said he's going to junior nationals, and so he's going to try to break it get it even lower. Being 16 years old and going 52.7 is really remarkable. Michael Phelps aside, anybody going 52 anything as a 16-year-old is really remarkable. And I remember watching his 50 fly yesterday and thinking he had great speed, and just wasn't sure if it could translate to the 100, but it did.
Well, the future of the 100 butterfly is looking really great on both sides. All right, up next was a 50 breaststroke, and it was an ecstatic Jessica Hardy who takes the win. 30.24, followed by Bria Larson. These are the top 2 and 3 times in the world currently. But Jessica now punched her ticket to Barcelona. She seemed really thrilled with that race.
And she loves the 50 breaststroke. It's one of the events she has the world record. She also has the world record in the 100. It's just a pure sprint event, which is Jessica's forte. And she really wanted to claim ownership to this event. She told me in the post-race interview that she was one of the people who had really petitioned hard to have the 50s in this meet so that she could race to get an actual spot in the 50 breast. Not to say that maybe she wasn't confident about making it in the 100 and then maybe being able to do the 50, but I spoke to a lot of people that were like Jessica. It's great to have these 50s here. It's it just tests out different kinds of speed. It's a great advantage for the pure sprinters to be able to show what they have. And for people like Jessica, it obviously paid off. 30.2 is a great swim for now. Ruta Melatite is under 30 seconds, so she's got a few tenths to drop to be able to be competitive with her.
Yeah, well, on the men's side, you expected Kevin Cordes to be in the mix, but he actually got second to his teammate Kevin Steele with our first U.S. record of the night. He seemed really thrilled with that. Yeah,
and this was a breakout swim for Kevin Steele, and more in a way than his getting second at the NCAA's was, because obviously when you swim the fastest swim on U.S. soil, that's a big breakout swim. And before this morning, I don't think anybody would have said that Kevin Steele was going to do too much at this meet, and now they're going to be looking at him tomorrow in that 100 breast.
And I thought it was great. His post reaction was, "Well, I can't let Kevin Cordes get all the attention," or something like that. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, on to the 50 backstroke, the last individual event of the night. And this was another one of the top swims of the night. Rachel Bootsma breaks the American record. Our first American record we've seen all weekend, and I don't want to say it, but might be our only one that we're going to see based off of the swimming that we've seen thus far.
It might be, but you just never know. I mean, there's a lot of swimming left, but yeah, when you look at the 50s have the bigger chance of breaking the records because they're not done very much.
Well, 27.68 followed by Franklin. So once again, those backstrokers going 1-2.
It's good to see Rachel do that, and she still has a little bit more to get with those Chinese ladies who are phenomenal in the backstrokes, and but I think it's going to be fun to see the United States do that. People may not remember Missy Franklin got the bronze medal at the World Championships in the 50 backstroke with a 28.01, so she swam faster than she did in 2011, so things are looking up for the United States in that event.
And on the men's side, David Plummer takes on Matt Grievers. He also gets the U.S. Open record with a 24.52.
It's great to see David Plummer get that confidence back after what I would think was a disappointing trials. I think he said it was okay. You know, I think he had the swim he expected. It just wasn't good enough to make the Olympic team. This has got to give him a lot of confidence going into that 100 back tomorrow. Obviously, Matt Grievers is going to be the big favorite, but behind Matt, there's a lot of people who are going to be gunning for that second spot.
All right, so of all the big races we saw tonight, Eugene qualifying first, the 100 butterfly, Cassidy Byer, 13-year-old, Justin Lynch, national age group record, American record by Rachel Bootsma. Which of those would be your number one?
I would say neither. I'd say Chase Kalish's 400 IM. I'm glad that he's getting the opportunity to go to Worlds and represent the United States. I guess it's no small surprise that you know, Michael Phelps is now out of the 400 IM and a transition is made to another North Baltimore swimmer taking the mantle. I think there's a lot of great things that are going to be coming from him, and this is going to be a great first step. And who knows? He might not get that he could get that sub 410 this year, but he's got 3 years to really make it on the big stage, and it's good that he's doing it now and starting to make that progress.
All right, well, tomorrow there's still 2 more full days of action. Tomorrow we have the 400 freestyle, 100 breaststroke, 100 backstroke. Now, we're not going to see one of our favorites in the 400 free, Elias and Commings. Similar to some of these Olympians, and I thought it was great that Tyler Clary spoke about it after he got out of the water, as he said it's been a really tough year for all these guys. I didn't bring it up earlier, but Caitlin Leveren's just fallen short here. Elias and Commings scratching the 400 freestyle because she's just not having a great meet. Tyler Clary, although he's qualifying, he said it's been really difficult. So that's okay, though.
It is okay. I mean, you know, it's always the year after the Olympics is always tough. It was tough for Michael Phelps in 2009, but he came back and he fought hard to do well at the World Championships in 2009. People like Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte and Missy Franklin, they're rare exceptions for people who can just continue to do well no matter what. Everybody feels it. Every single person feels it. You've put everything you have into that 1 year, and then that year is over and your body just wants to just shut down and just kind of just take a break. And for some of them, they didn't have that choice. Allison didn't have that choice. She went right into college, classroom and swimming, and I think it's just really, even though she always puts on a great face and she's always smiling, I had a feeling it was wearing down on her just after what I saw at NCAA's, but it's not. She'll be back. We're going to see her throughout the next year rebuild her confidence, rebuild her strength, and Pan Pacs is going to be, I foresee it being a great rebuilding meet for her.
Well, this is Race Day sponsored by Arena. I'm Tiffany Elias for Jeff Cummings. Join us tomorrow for day 4 of 5, and make sure to go to swimmingworld.com to find all post-race interviews, articles, and follow that social media for quick results. And we will see you tomorrow.